Hey, it's Caroline from Sunday Fitness. Today we get to play in the kitchen and we are going to learn one of my favorite tricks for making a salad dressing that is easy, quick, very versatile, and you can actually use it as a marinade as well. So all you need, very simple ingredients. Obviously you need a bowl to put it in. I learned this recipe from a French woman. So for the most part, French home cooks are really not that interested in a lot of measurements. So I have measurements and such here, which I can use in a little bit, but they don't really like to use a lot of measurements. So instead, she just kind of eyeballs it, and that's what I do as well. But if you need to, you're always welcome to use a measuring cup and full-on measuring spoons and such. I'll give you an approximate amount, and then it's all about you deciding how much you want as far as how much mustard, how much vinegar, and how much oil you like as far as for your flavoring. Now, the things you'll need, I feel like I've got a hair on me. Oh, always, if you have long hair like I do, make sure you pull it back before you start cooking, otherwise you'll get hairs flying into your food, and that's just not a fun thing. Anyway, so what you'll definitely want to have on hand is olive oil. Because in this case, we're not going to cook it on the stove. It's okay to use olive oil. If we were going to cook it on the stove top, you wouldn't want to use olive oil. That will burn it. But this, for dressing or for baking, you're okay. So olive oil. I like extra virgin olive oil. I also have here some balsamic vinaigrette. So some type of a balsamic vinegar. Some type of a vinegar. If you want a stronger flavor, you use a balsamic, which is a dark color. If you want a lighter flavor, you can use like a white wine vinegar or a sherry vinegar. Just kind of as you start playing with it, you'll notice the ones that you like to use, and you can decide which one is the most appropriate in that situation. We're talking about versatility here, so these are your base foundational ingredients, and then you play with it as much as you want. Next, you're going to need Dijon mustard. I just get this from the grocery store. It is organic. I like to stick with organic products as much as possible. But it's again up to you. Just make sure it is a Dijon mustard. It can't be a French, it can't be a grainy mustard like a farmhouse mustard or anything like that. For the texture and the flavor, you need the Dijon. And then, of course, we need some type of a seasoning. So I've got salt and pepper in my shakers. And I also have, in this case, I have, this is Italian seasoning herbs. Again, you don't need them at all if you don't want to, but you can use them. So I'm going to go ahead and put in some Italian seasoning, and I'll show you how to do that. And then I may or may not feel like using it, but you can use a lemon. The three things that you have to have, though, remember, are the olive oil, the vinegar, and the mustard. Here's why. Olive oil and vinegar do not mix. You may have seen it in the restaurants when they try to give you oil and vinegar, and you put it on, and you have blops of oil and blops of vinegar. I think it's disgusting personally. I never get oil and vinegar in restaurants because I don't like that. But mustard glues the two together. Dijon mustard emulsifies the two together. So that's how you get a paste or a dressing rather than oil with vinegar floating on top. All right, so real simple. I'm using a bowl because I don't like to clean out measuring cups. When I mix it all in my bowl here, later on, I can put the salad right on top, or I can put my chicken right on top and use the same bowl for prep and for service as I used for the original prep on the salad dressing. So I'll grab some of my olive oil first, because this is the one that's going to have most likely the most of any of the ingredients. So I like to just douse the bottom. But again, if you like the idea of measurements, I know some engineers who they have to have a number in order to work with it. So you can think of in terms of like a 3 parts oil to 1 part vinegar, or 4 parts oil to 1 part vinegar. Thereabouts. So if you used a whole cup of olive oil for a whole big group of people, then you would need a 1/4 cup of vinegar. That's the idea. But I tend to do less vinegar, so I don't really go by that 4-to-1 measurements. But that is kind of standard, is a 4-to-1. Or for people who really like vinegar, they like the 3-to-1. All right. Yes, somebody in the peanut gallery just motioned that they like vinegar too. So they like 3-to-1. I've taught this to my children, by the way, so they all know how to make it. And then I'm going to, you can do a teaspoon for a tablespoon or 2 of olive oil. You could do a teaspoon of Dijon. I like more Dijon in mine. I just like a lot of mustard. So I'm going to add a little bit more like a tablespoon. And then it's, of course, seasoning. So however much seasoning you want to use. A little bit here, a little bit there. You can always add more at the table to your salad or to your dressing. And then here's where I'm going to add my herbs. These are dried herbs. I do have fresh herbs outside, but honestly, I forgot which one is which. So I'm using dried. And because I just don't like to measure. I mean, that means I have to get a spoon out of here, and I don't like extra work. So I'm going to finger it like this, but I am going to rub the bits together, and that allows me to get a little bit more freshness out of it. I don't know who taught me that trick, but I noticed once I started doing that my dried herbs just had a lot more flavor to them. You're just kind of breaking up a little bit. And then, why not? I think I will add a little bit of lemon. So I've got a fresh lemon here. And I always had trouble with lemons before in the past because I would let them sit too long and then they would get really hard. So now I make a point of always feeling my lemon and seeing if I can squeeze it. If I can squeeze it, then I can use it. So we'll grab this, and I'm just going to cut this in half because I just want the juice. And the easiest way for me that I found to get juice is to grab a mini colander. So this is a handheld that just lost its handle. And I'll just hold it over and squeeze the lemon juice through here because it holds on to my seeds for me, so I don't have to worry about the seeds going in my dressing because that was always annoying. So now I've got the juice without the seeds. And by the way, you can use this trick too for powdered sugar if you don't like using sifters and flour. Sifters are annoying. Again, I don't like weird, challenging tools that are hard to clean. So this is really easy to clean. So I started, because I didn't feel like waiting for this sifting it, sifting it takes forever. I found that if I just took one of these guys, that I could easily and quickly take a spoon and just basically be my own sifter. And then it was a lot easier to clean and a lot faster too. I could go through a whole cup of flour or powdered sugar in very little time. All right, I'll just set this down here. Rinse off my hands, lemon juice stings. Could you toss me that towel, please? Thank you. Magic, a towel comes flying. All right, and now it flies off. So now all I have to do is mix it up. And you can use a fork, or I'm gonna use a little, I can't remember what it's called. Oh well. Whisk, there we go, it's a whisk. I figured I'd come up with a name eventually. I like to think it's a mark of intelligence that you can't remember all the words. You know there's the right word for it, but you can't necessarily remember, although it could just be a mark of age. Either way, oh well. C'est la vie, life goes on. So here's a dressing. So you can see it's kind of a goldeny brown color because of that Dijon. It will be very tasty with any kind of vegetables I put in it, or if I wanted to make it more paste-like, I can then use it on top of chicken or shrimp or any other light, flavorful, light, mild flavored meat. I would just toss in there, put the lid on it, and then literally shake it. In this case, I'm gonna leave it as it is because my kids are gonna use it for salad dressing in a little while. So I'm just gonna leave it like this with a lid on it, and their dressing is made. And that's all there is to it. Just remember, if you wanna use it as a marinade, you will need to make it more pasty, so you have to put more dressing, more mustard in there. Otherwise, it's as easy as that. Most of the French recipes that I use on a daily basis are just that easy. The crazy thing is, they taste really that good. So life shouldn't be spent entirely in the kitchen unless you want to spend it in the kitchen, but life should be full of yummy flavors. And hopefully in this playlist, you'll find many more videos that can share more of my favorite tips, and that you can make use of all of them and create your own unique cooking style. Have a great day. I'll see you next time.